me a good morning, everybody. Okay, it's always good to have a little enthusiasm in the morning. I'm just kind of like walking caffeine, so I just like to just be.
That's where the coffee is.
There you go. But here, in all seriousness, I am extremely grateful and honored to be in the collection of human beings that's in this room. Your presence here, it demonstrates that you have a strong desire to want to be a change agent and make the world hopefully a better place. And with that in mind, I think we all come here with the desire to try to figure out the tough questions. And I appreciate Paul, not only his invitation to be here, but the invitation to think outside the box. And for me, that has always been something I've defied. I come from a small town called Pineville, Louisiana. Some of you may not know that, but that's the place in Louisiana where they say, if you're crazy, you should go to Pineville. So I grew up all my life defying being put in a box. And I've always understood that it's not always the answers as much as it is the questions that you ask. Teachers early on challenged me and said that, James, if you don't ask the right questions, it's impossible for you to get the right answers. And so here for me, this question about student loan debt, I think is really at the core and at the heart of one of the things that's challenging our democracy and challenging our existence and also the quality of life for so many young people. If you do research, it's clear and demonstrates that this is a problem that's at the forefront of many young people and older people as they try to retrain and reorganize their own lives. So one of the questions I have is, as we talk about this, is how can we even change the language of not even calling it debt? If all of us in this room are so compelled, so convinced that education plays an important role in one's quality of life, social mobility, and ability to have a positive and flourishing life, then why is it even something that's up for debate or discussion in a society that wants to promote better social welfare and social mobility? So how do we create opportunities to redefine, remarket, rephrase, repackage what it means for how we talk about this notion of debt? The second thing is I'm also convinced that if you didn't get a chance, one of the things that Paul illustrated is how do we create, he used Uber as an example, how do we create an educational system that meets students where they are? We have a very traditional kind of, in many ways, antiquated educational model that does not really meet students where they are. That doesn't mean that residential learning is a thing of the past, but it also means that things like MOOCs and online educational models and platforms like ones demonstrated in this room are ones that we need to find ways to give people more access to. So how do we create an opportunity for more access, but also more accountability to ensure that people are getting the quality learning that they need in order to be successful in the workplace? And last but not least, I don't know what my time or if I have a timekeeper somewhere, but one of the things else that I think is at the heart of this also for me is how do we think about what kind of society that we want? And that maybe is the first question we should ask, because I think education in so many ways informs what kind of world we want to live in, what kind of vision that we have for society. And I think it's easy to say that our politics are such that regardless of your political leanings, we need to create a space where people can listen to each other, people can respect one another, and people can appreciate one another. So just because something is different doesn't mean it's deficient. And I'll repeat that again. Just because something is different doesn't mean it's deficient. And so how do we create spaces where the educational opportunities that we afford students, and afford all of us for that matter, are ones that are built upon those ideas? And I think if we can do that, rethink what we think about debt, rethink about what we see as in terms of what kind of society that we want, and also help meet students where they are, then we truly can move much closer to an opportunity where everyone can benefit from the fruits of having a positive and awesome educational experience, but also then have a sense of responsibility to give back. Because I think oftentimes the way our educational system works is that we take and we get, and then we feel like once I got my education, then I can go out in the world and just do what I want to do. How do we create a model where everyone feels a sense of altruism, a sense of community, that my education is an opportunity for me to give back to society?
I know I should have put him last. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Sean,